Hey guys, welcome back to the Christmas special week of the Core Room, and we're going to be joined by Kerry-Anne Payne for the first one. The lineup for this week, up until before Saturday, obviously, is just younger me would be super excited. So, yeah, we're just going to wait for Kerry-Anne to come in. But I hope everyone's doing well and your Christmases are going well so far. Let's get Kerry-Anne in there. Hopefully this works. It's been dodgy the last couple of times. But Christmas update from here though. All Christmas tree lights have just... Hey!
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I am not too bad, thank you. Very good.
Do you like my Christmas setup?
Yeah, it's lovely. Sorry, mine isn't Christmassy at all, actually. I feel bad about that. I have to up the
That's
game.
all right. I think the elf makes up for it.
Definitely.
It's great to have you on. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for asking me. Been delighted. Really looking forward to it.
Younger Lauren is super excited right now. I mean, obviously Lauren now is excited, but younger Lauren is can't believe it. Okay, so not that you really need it, but if you could just give a quick intro of who you are.
Well, my name is Kerry-Anne Payne. I started out my career as a pool swimmer and then transitioned into open water swimming in 2007. I went to the Beijing Olympics, the London Olympics, and the Rio Olympic Games for the 10K. I also swam in the pool 200-400 medley in Beijing. I won a silver medal in Beijing for the 10K and 2 World Championship titles, 2009, 2011, also for the 10K. Basically, I'm an open water swimmer. That's kind
You
of
are,
me.
but you're also insane in the pool as well. So, pretty incredible athlete, to be fair.
Thank you.
The first question that I like to ask every guest that comes on, because there's so many different types of core room athletes, is what type of core room athlete were you?
I was the noisy one. I would talk to anybody if there was anybody ready to give me any kind of eye contact, I'd be straight in there. Just talk to me all day long. I'm not good at I'd be nervous, like I'd be having, my knee would be going, and I would trim my goggles a little bit, trying not to look nervous, and basically just try and talk to anyone. Hannah Miley used to hate me, I'm sure. I haven't asked her this question, but I probably need to ask her at some point. But I was just, especially if we were somewhere foreign, like in a foreign country, and it's just the two of us doing the 400 or the 200 medley, she'd be like, oh god, here comes Kerry-Anne. We're like, hey, how you doing? What's tonight? But I was a chaper.
I love that. I love that. Did you have any superstitions before your race, like in the corridor or behind the blocks? No routine or anything?
I am the most forgetful person. So if I had a routine, it would have been like disaster, essentially. If I had like a lucky pair of pants or something, that'd be it. It'd be gone. The only thing I did have that wasn't really a superstition, more of a memory game, was this is going to sound completely ridiculous. I've never said this out loud before, but here you go, Lauren Quigley.
Here we go, exclusive.
The underwear essentially that I wore, the pants that I wore essentially on the day of the Beijing Olympics, I did kind of decide that they would be my lucky pants, basically, and they did, follow me through for a couple of years. Obviously I washed them in between for a couple of years, and then it was definitely one of those things where I think I left, I don't know, like they just, as that kind of stuff happens, I don't know where they went really, but it was just one of those things that I just never had a superstition, because I was just so forgetful that there was no point essentially in having one for me, because it just would have probably ruined every time. Be like, was it 3 clicks or 5 clicks? Was it goggles first, hat first? I can't really remember. So there was just no point for me.
Oh, well, that's good, because you can be pretty chilled about things then, can't you? You
Totally.
don't have to worry about it. I wonder where in the world your pants are right now.
I know, no idea. My lucky pants, they're somewhere.
They're somewhere. Someone might be using them, having a great day,
Hopefully not, but yeah, fair enough, maybe.
All right, so we're going to do a quick fire round, because I love the quick fire and it gets everyone going. So don't think too much about it. Just give me whichever answer comes first. Christmas music or Christmas films?
Christmas films.
Individual bronze or relay gold?
Relay gold.
Real tree or fake tree?
Real tree.
Single colour lights or multicolored lights?
Single colour lights.
Okay. Would you, when you swim, prefer to have fins as feet or be able to breathe underwater?
I'm not supposed to think about this. Probably breathe underwater.
Yeah, I think I'd pick the same.
Mm.
Snowmen or elves?
Snowmen. Love a
Okay.
snowman.
Love snowmen, yeah. Morning training or afternoon training?
Morning, just to get it done with, really.
Yeah. Favorite Christmas song?
Oh, I don't think I have one.
Do you like them all, or are you like Christmas?
No, I like them all. I'm happy with
Okay.
Christmas music in the background. I don't have a particular favorite.
Okay,
Sorry,
fair enough.
terrible question.
No, that's all good.
Answer, terrible answer, not terrible
You've got to be
question.
true to you here, which you'll hear on Quickly Sport. Would you prefer to be able to swim at 100 miles per hour or fly at 10 miles per hour?
I'll probably fly.
Yeah, you can fly, right? You can already swim at 100 miles an hour. That's a silly question. Your favourite item on the Christmas dinner plate?
Potentially controversial, but Yorkshire puddings through and through.
Okay, fair enough. If you had to switch out your main event, so we'll go main events because you're so good at them all. So 10K and the IMs are out. Which event would you switch to be the same standard?
Oh, the 200 freestyle. I think that would be a pretty good race to be part of.
Nice.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a tough.
It is tough, totally tough.
But yeah. What do you think? This is a question I'm just throwing in there. The hardest 200 long courses. What do you think? What would you say?
I think the easy one is like 200 fly, but actually it can be all right sometimes. I wonder almost like
all right,
like a 200 freestyle, but like where you literally leave everything in, like you're basically ready for that wall to hit you as soon as you get there. It's really tough, especially if it's a hard fought swim.
Yeah, definitely. Christmas Eve or Boxing Day?
Christmas Eve. If
not swimming, then what?
Swimming. I get that question all the time. There was never anything else. And never anything else I was any good at. Swimming all the way.
I'm sure there would have been, but what is at the top of your tree? A star, an angel, or something different?
We actually forgot to put the star on the tree, so currently there's nothing on top of the tree. But normally it's a naked tree, yeah. But normally it would be a star.
Okay, perfect. Do you have an advent calendar?
I don't actually, but we have one for Josephine. So I feel like I'm my daughter, and she's 2, so I put a lot of time and effort into hers. Like a one it's a traditional one that we use. So I put all my effort into that one. But no, I didn't actually get one. What do you think about that?
I'm going to have to speak to David after this.
Yeah, I think so.
Favorite, last quick fire question. Favorite Christmas film, if you have one?
It has to be Home Alone, I think. Got to be Home Alone.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The original.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that. Right, we're going to get into the questions. First question, most important question, particularly this year, is how are you and how is Josephine and Dave?
All right, thank you. It's been a tough year for everyone for different reasons. We have been incredibly lucky in our household to have both been very busy in terms of work. So life outside of swimming, obviously I'm not swimming anymore, but we've both been really busy. Both businesses have been doing really well this year because they kind of were based online for a lot of it. So that's been great, obviously, to be busy in a really tricky year. But it's almost been like too busy at times. So that's been really tricky to try and kind of, from a mum perspective, try to deal with needing to work, but also having to look after Josephine and then childcare and all that kind of stuff in and around that, and wanting to be with her and spend time. She's only 2, like she's learning new stuff every day. So yeah, it's been tricky from that perspective, and not seeing family, not seeing friends. We live down in London, so we don't have a network of family down here, so that's been really hard. So it's been literally the 3 of us looking after each other the whole time, which we're lucky to be in that position. Totally appreciate that. But it's been a tricky year. I think it's because we've been so busy to have no time to focus on anything other than that. So yeah, we're just looking forward to having a bit of time off over Christmas, basically.
Yeah, I bet. I was going to say that you're really looking forward to Christmas right now then, just to chill out, eat, relax. Yeah, no, definitely. So just tell me a bit how you got into swimming, really, because I know it's not, you've not been in the UK the whole time, and
Mhm.
it's a bit different. So just, I'd love for you to explain a bit more about how you got into it and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I am the youngest of three. My brother is 9 years older than me, so he was already swimming by the time I came around. And it was just a really easy in. My brother was already swimming. My mum wanted my sister to swim, to learn how to swim essentially, and then she got into swimming, and then it was just an easy thing for me really to do the same thing, learning how to swim. And the second I got in, I just absolutely loved it. Didn't want to get out, just was desperate to learn how to swim properly so that I could swim and try and chase my brother, because I was that annoying little sister that used to follow him everywhere and he used to hate it. We're friends now, totally fine. But it was kind of, one of those really tricky things for a while. So I just loved swimming. I mean, you asked me earlier, if it wasn't swimming, what else? I literally tried everything. We tried, I tried netball, we tried hockey, we tried athletics, tried everything. Ballet, the works, and I was pretty much dreadful at everything else. I was decent at goalkeeping in primary school for netball, because I was really tall. I've been quite tall the whole of my life. But that when we changed to high school, it was a different ball game. Like, girls were vicious, and I wasn't ready for that. I quite enjoyed. Take me back to primary school netball. I'll be there all day long. But yeah, high school was it took total different turn basically. And that's really how I got into swimming, because I just loved it. And that was the thing we kept coming back to. So every time I would try something else, swimming would always be there. And I just loved it. I had such a great coach to start with, a lady called Di Williamson. We left South Africa when I was 13. So in 2001, we moved back to Manchester, which is where my family were from originally. And then again, really lucky to have found a really great coach in the area, a guy called Dave Crouch. So I swam for Aqua Bears of Rochdale for nearly 3 years, I think it was, 2 or 3 years. Really just, again, he is such a wonderful man, and really helped me kind of go from being a swimmer that enjoyed swimming, that was decent at it, to being kind of the swimmer to go, actually, you know what, maybe there is something in this for me. Maybe I can take it further, because he really totally believed in me, which is when I moved over to Stockport Metro and Sean Kelly. And I was there for 9 years. And again, he took me from being that kind of great kind of youngster, if you like, a good youngster in the pool, to taking that next step. It wasn't in the event we thought it was going to be, the 800. It turned out to be the 10K. But yeah, it doesn't really matter how we got there. I guess we got there.
Yeah, you definitely got there. You got there really high and amazingly. This was a great question that I really want to know. Your pre-10K race breakfast.
It's not quite as fun as maybe you're expecting it to be, but it essentially was two bowls of porridge with a banana,
lovely.
And like any kind of syrup, as much as I could get in there, basically, to try and down 2 bowls of porridge in the morning. And that was always, so we always made sure we had that with us. I always had 2 sachets of porridge, and it was always something that didn't matter if the hotel didn't have it. We could always have it in our rooms as well before we went through.
Yeah.
So
nice. So if you had to redo one day from your whole career, and it'd be the exact same result, but you go through the same emotions and everything, and it's just the exact same day, what day would you choose?
That is a good question.
Because there's so many that you could do that are amazing. It's just interesting to know which one it would be.
That is a really good question. And I think if I could go back and relive a day to kind of really remember it, it would probably be Beijing. Only because I don't really remember much after the swim. We were tired, as you can imagine, from having raced 10K. My training partner, Cassie Patton, won a bronze medal in the same race. And I wish I could remember more about that feeling. I think we were so, like, we were both emotional, but we were so dehydrated that there was no tears coming out, because we were so dehydrated from the swim that we had just done, and the weather that we had as well, because it was really warm. So we were both like just dry crying, which wasn't exactly the nicest form of crying, and just like really emotional. And I really wish I could remember more about the feelings, like standing on the podium. I wish I could remember like going from one bit to the next, and then coming out of the water, and I remember what I did. I got out of the water, and my teammates were just on the side, and I remember running past security, and I don't normally, I'm a rule follower, so I don't normally do that, but I saw my boyfriend, who's my husband at the time, David Carey, and I just ran straight there and just gave them all a hug, and it was amazing to kind of witness that and feel that with them, because they had walked down the side of it was a rowing lake where they did the rowing, and we could literally see them. We were like 100 meters away, not even 100 meters away from them. We could see them all going, go, go. And we're like, yeah, trying. Thanks. Yeah, still trying.
Thanks for that.
Down the last 1,000 meters. But that was, so I remember bits and pieces, but I'd love to try and remember more. I can't even remember what I ate. Like when we got back to the little village that we were in, we weren't in the main village because we were quite far out. I can't remember what I ate or anything. Really? I'd love to go back, and like lying in bed that night again, I can't remember what I did. I think I put my medal under my pillow. I don't know why, just to make sure. I don't know, I can't really remember.
That's a good place. The tooth fairy can only get under there, that's it.
Yeah.
So you're fine with that. That's amazing. Goosebumps, goosebump moments when you listen to people talk about moments like that. And if I was to ask you then what your highest moment of your career was, would it be that moment, or is there another moment?
No, there is definitely another moment, and it's one that's kind of surrounded with lots of emotion, which is actually the London Olympics. So for me, my mission is to empower the world to swim outdoors. That is what I'm all about doing. So everything I'm doing now is to basically get people to do that, essentially, to swim outdoors. And at the time, that was, London, was like the beginning of my journey of kind of realizing how privileged I was to be in a situation to potentially inspire not just the next generation, the younger generation, but everyone to take up a sport that was relatively new at the time. It'd only really been in the front of people's minds for 4 years from Beijing. And from Beijing through to London, more and more people knew about it. There were more and more events, like mass participation events, like the Great Swim Series, which started in 2008 when we came back from Beijing. And just all that kind of stuff, like just to see that kind of snowball effect. And London, at Home Olympic Games, you're never going to beat a feeling like that. My event, the 10K, was in the Serpentine in Hyde Park, which actually, if you go back to the Serpentine, anybody that goes and has a look around it, it's quite small. Just the part, underneath the bridge, like that's quite small, really. And there were 30,000 people that came to watch. It was a free event, and there was 30,000 people watching my swim, which is just mental that many people knew about it, wanted to come and stood around for more than 2 hours, but basically that length of time. So that was an interesting one. And I think that my proudest moment was walking out for the 10K, and they said, I'm from Great Britain, Kerry-Anne Payne, and hearing, I mean, I'm sure there was about 50 people there for the other girls that were racing, but it sounded like 29,950 people were cheering.
I'm sure all of them.
But maybe more. But they're cheering. It was just amazing. Like the noise, that feeling, I will never forget. That for me is a proper goosebumps moment. And I'm really glad that I allowed myself to take a moment to go, wow, this is really cool. I can't believe this has happened. Sorry if you can hear just in the background.
That's all right. She can chip in all she wants.
But that really was amazing. And I think from that moment, it was my realization again that I had a real opportunity to try and show the world what we could do and what I could do. And, then the rest of the feeling of that day is, I came fourth in London by 0.4 of a second, which was a really hard feeling. So although the race result wasn't the result that I wanted and what everyone else was hoping and wanting and expecting, when I got out the water, it still sounded like all those people was, because I got out and I gave, a wave essentially. I didn't know where anybody would be looking or watching or whatever, but it was just felt like the right thing to do at the time. I was completely disappointed because I knew I had about 2 minutes until I spoke to Claire Balding and the world and talked about what happened. And yeah, just that kind of feeling, but the cheer was just as loud again. And it was mind-blowing to think that it's not just about winning. And that's, again, I guess where my career changed a little bit, in that I realized that being an Olympian isn't just about winning races and medals. It's about so much more than that, what we have and what we can do. And that was really the start. So for me, that's one of my proudest moments from that, and using that and taking that and rolling with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. And just listen to you talk. I could just listen to you talk. You just carry on, actually. I just sit and listen. But no, fantastic. And there's 4 swimmers in my career, 5 swimmers, sorry, Gore girls who were on the GB team who were amazing, and each one of them gave me something for my own career that none of them probably even realised. I spoke to Hannah Miley about it the other week. She was one. You were one, and you won't remember. Well, I don't think you'll remember. But it was at Manchester Aquatics, and we had a conversation on poolside, and you were just as lovely as ever, and I was just like, oh my God, it's Kerry-Anne May. And we were just chatting away, and you were asking how I was and all that good stuff, and you had a conversation. It was before London. You talked about, and this is not about me going to London and getting Olympic gold and stuff. Of course, that's I'd love to do that. But this is about me doing everything I can so that when I've done the race, I can go, well, I gave it everything. I did my absolute best, and that's what it's about. And obviously there was a lot more to the conversation, but I'm sure the people don't want to listen to me ramble on. This is all about you. But it was just a big moment in my career that really helped me throughout what I was doing for the rest of my time in swimming, or it's still going, but obviously I'm not racing anymore. So first of all, thank you for being an inspiration to me and so many other people, of course.
Oh, thank you. That makes it really
listening to what you've just said, and I've spoken to a few other athletes who have said something similar about that being the highest moment, but they came fourth. So then when I ask, what was your lowest moment? Is that the same? Is it the same? It was that moment, or have you got another one that was really low that you struggled with?
No, I really yeah. So actually, it was another fourth place, but it wasn't from that competition. It was actually from the Commonwealth Games in 2006. So really, that was the end of my 800 swimming career, if you like. Went out to Melbourne to race I think I just did the 800. Thinking about it, I can't remember exactly, but the 800 freestyle on a massive team, an England team. We were out in Melbourne. It was just a really cool place to be. The Commonwealth Games there, they did such a great job of, and to be part of that was amazing. But I came fourth by quite a way, in terms of, like, it wasn't 0.4 of a second over a 10K. It was, maybe a second or two, and it just, it wasn't a good time either. It wasn't even like I did everything I could. I smashed a PB and I came fourth, and I was the fourth in the Commonwealth. It wasn't, there was just something wasn't quite right, didn't click into place. And it was a combination, I think, as well, of the couple of years before that. So the previous year, for 2005, I just missed out on making the World Championship team by points of a second, and it was like an outrageous time to have qualified. The qualifying time was outrageous, and I did like an 8-second PB to get to the time, and it was like literally 0.2 away from it. But the rules were, if you didn't do the time, you couldn't go. I added two, just missing out. I missed out on going to the Athens Olympics, in 2004, because I did the time 2 weeks too late. So it was a combination of those things, like just chipping away at me for a while. And really at that point, I lost the love of it. I couldn't really remember why I was swimming and why I was doing it. It wasn't about me being the best athlete. It was about me trying to win medals. And that's the only other time I've ever felt that. And it just didn't really go well. I wasn't nervous, which was super strange for me. I was nervous before school competitions where I knew I was the fastest by a country mile. I could give them a 25-meter head start and still win the race. I was still nervous. But literally I was nervous for everything. But I knew that was part of the process for me. I just wasn't nervous for the swim, which really kind of scared me in the call room anyway, knowing there was about 17,000 people. I just wasn't scared. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't scared. It was just kind of like, oh, okay. Anyway, just had a really horrible time. Didn't enjoy it at all. One moment in particular, I remember. So it was the last night of swimming, or the day after, or whatever. It was a big, massive team meeting, and the team managers were like, right, that's all done, blah, 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 blah. Right, what we need now is everyone that won a medal, if you can just stay back, we're just going to get a big medal team photo. Everyone else, we'll see you guys same time tomorrow, whatever it was. And so everyone stayed, which was, I think, the worst thing that could have happened, was because basically there was two of us on the whole team of about 45 athletes. Two of us stood up. We were the only two that didn't win a medal at that competition. It was myself and Mark Foster, the only two that didn't win a medal. Everyone else won a medal in the relays and like everything. And it was brutal to kind of be like, thankfully he's much taller than I am, so it must have felt much worse for him to get up and sulk out the room. He didn't sulk. I probably sulked. I don't think he sulked. But it was a really tough one. And I was at the time I would have been 17.
Right.
body changing, like school friends, like all that kind of stuff was just, so that was really my lowest moment, was that part where I was almost ready to stop. I'd say, and I kind of say this, I was almost ready to quit. I'd say now I'm
Wow.
retired, so I'm a retired athlete. I retired in,
Mhm.
you know, at the age of 28, which is quite old for a swimmer.
Yeah.
But I definitely would have quit, if you know what I mean. Well, you couldn't have called it
Yes.
retiring at the time. I definitely would have quit at that age, which was, you know, considering my career was another 11 years after that. It was quite a big moment for me, I think, because I never knew anything else. I had always swum. That kind of kept me in there, and then the change of event as well, from the 800 to the 10K.
Wow. Well, on behalf of Great Britain, thank you for not quitting. And thank you for carrying on, because you did fantastic. You were brilliant. Really good question. Do you swim down from a 10K?
No.
Straight out done.
Sort of. There was a process, if you like, a process that happened, which was as ridiculous as this sounds, but it was a process of aqua aerobics in the pool, which again, the last thing we really wanted to do after a 10K was get into the pool. And I saw Jack, I just saw Jack had come on early. I don't know if he's still on or not, but essentially it literally, it looked like us genuinely doing aqua aerobics, but it was more of a stretching routine that our physio had basically planned for us, which we just did in the water because it was much easier on our joints. And then essentially it would then be physio afterwards. And then after that, it would be making sure that we had a really good meal. And then we slept well as well. That was kind of the process. And actually, if we did that, I usually recovered within about 3 days. If we didn't do that, it took me about a week usually to recover from that 10K. So yeah, it was always quite a difference in the process from doing that kind of stuff.
Wow. Someone's just asked in the comments then, when did you realise that you were actually really good at swimming?
I'm not sure if I ever really did. I think for me, I think after Beijing, like standing on the podium going, okay, fair enough. I'm kind of a 10K swimmer now. Like, this is kind of my thing. Because I was ready. I thought I wouldn't make another Olympics. I thought the Beijing Olympics was my pinnacle for me. You know, that was the competition, and I couldn't wait to go there. I was coming in 8th in the world, ranked 8th in the world. So I had really nothing to lose. I hadn't ever won a 10K because I'd only done a couple of them. So that was an interesting scenario to be within there. But it was, yeah, probably after that where I kind of was like, okay, I kind of do need to take this seriously now. Like, London is a potential, like literally it's a potential for me to make it to home Olympic Games. Like, wow. And after then.
Amazing. Would you like Josephine to swim? She
can swim, sort of. She swims like a 2-year-old, I guess, which is not beautiful front crawl. And that's, I guess, kind of my aim, is that she can swim beautiful front crawl, and like she can swim and she's comfortable in the water and underwater and playing and loves it. But I would probably prefer her to do a different sport.
Push her elsewhere. Like tennis or something like that.
Absolutely. But she absolutely loves water. Like, I'm not just saying she loves swimming. She loves water. Every single day that she comes home from nursery, she's usually had a change of outfit because she's been playing with water. If they turn around for 2 seconds, she's straight to the tap just playing with water. So I think that I've got a life of being a swimming mum, to be honest. But if that's what she wants to do, I will absolutely support her to do that. But I will be making sure she tries other things.
That's it. You sound exactly like my mum. She tried that with me as well. But between you and Dave, she's going to be a great swimmer, whether she wants to do it or not. She's going to be fast.
She really loves it, and she spends a lot of time in the water, and she can jump in and she can do a bit of a version of swimming, but she's now tall enough at the pool that we go to touch the bottom and like jump basically. So it's not good. It is good or not. It's good that she can do that, but it's not good because as soon as she needs to take a breath, she just stops and jumps up instead of like tries to take a breath. So we've been like, do that, and now she's like, no, I don't need to do that. I can just do that. I'm like, anyway, but yeah.
Fair enough. 2 more questions. The first one, you're going to lose all your teammates, well, your friends bar one, and that is, who is your favourite ever teammate?
Oh, that's a really tricky one.
It's really harsh, so if you don't want to answer it, that's fine.
I had so many. I mean, I did share for many years on my 10K journeys with Danielle Huskisson, And she was just super easy. We both loved watching the same movies, the same TV shows, and we both loved sunbathing. So it was kind of it was just an easy thing to do, really. Yeah, I'd say Danielle it was just perfect. We both got on really well. We both we knew what the routine was as well, and that worked out really well. But then there was Cassie, and then there was Becky, who again, Becky was super easy as well. We both enjoyed doing the same things. That was quite easy, but that was quite early on in my career. So when I was a junior through to a couple of the senior competitions. Yeah, it was those three, I guess, are the main ones that we used to opt kind of, you could share with specific people. Yeah, it would be a combination of Cassie, Becky, and Danielle.
Wonderful. I lied. I said 2 more questions. It's 2 more questions now. Firstly, just quickly, because it's amazing, please explain what Triscape is and that you're doing open water coaching, because you did it with me, open water coaching, and that was amazing. I loved it. And I really suggest lots of people do it. So go for it. Explain those 2 things you're doing.
Yeah, so Triscape really was what I wanted to do when I finished swimming. I didn't want to leave swimming not having anything to step into. So I wanted to continue traveling the world. I wanted to meet new people. I wanted to teach people or coach people how to swim. And I knew that I could do a good job of that. So I set up Triscape, which essentially is a coaching business. So we do one-to-one coaching at home. We do masterclasses. So for swimming clubs, triathlon clubs, open water clubs, whatever you need, essentially in terms of masterclasses, I'm your girl, or one of the girls, essentially. There's many of us that do that, but I really love doing that stuff. And then the other part was to try and take people out of their stressful environments of work and home and all that kind of stuff and take them to some beautiful places around the world. So we would partner with resorts like the Body Holiday out in St. Lucia or in Nevis. A new one I have is in Tresco, which is in the Isles of Scilly, which was meant to be in October, but I'm hoping for next October we'll be good to go again. And that really was the start of Triscape, which was around kind of just, as I was saying, my mission was to inspire people to take on open water swimming. And then it, through the journey of Triscape, it kind of evolved into what I do now as a day job, which is straight line swimming. And that essentially is the methodology that we used with Triscape, the way that we coach people how to swim, and we broke it down into the 3 fundamentals of breathing, into body position, then into propulsion. And doing it that way as well, but added to the way that we deliver the coaching. It's not about me telling you. I could easily sit here and tell you what the 3 fundamentals are and what's important about them and do them, but that's not always going to be the best for the swimmer. Like, people need to learn for themselves. That's how it'll stay with you. And then I was approached by the Swimming Teachers Association, the STA, to help them create an open water coaching qualification, which I jumped at the chance to. So basically was part of the whole process. The working group contributed quite a lot of the course, which I absolutely loved, and became one of the master tutors, which is essentially just because I was one of the first. It doesn't really mean anything more.
No, you take that role.
A master tutor.
You are a master tutor for sure.
I really love it as well, and I wasn't expecting to love tutoring as much as I did. I thought my passion really was coaching, and I do love coaching. But tell you what, like I said, my mission now is empowering. I'm now empowering people like yourself to which you're doing an amazing job of. Now you have the qualification as well on top of that. To kind of go out and to get other people swimming, because I can only get to so many people in front of me, but I can't get to everyone else, basically. So it was about kind of creating that, and that's what I'm doing now with straight line swimming, and we're evolving it a little bit as well to make it like a membership website. So we want to be the go-to place for swimmers, open water swimmers, and coaches as well. So we have monthly an evening with section where we meet up, similar to what you're doing here. We'll meet up with industry experts and some people like with amazing stories around the world of open water swimming. Our first one, which was 2 weeks ago, or a week ago now actually, was a lady called Jamie Monahan, who is, if you know anything about open water swimming and ice swimming and marathon swimming, she is the queen of that stuff. So it was amazing to have her and that kind of stuff. So we're really super excited about where that's going. Lewis Pugh, another amazing adventurer, joining us next week for the second version of that, and then more people and more people. So yeah, and I just really absolutely love qualifying people to become open water coaches. And to date, so as of October 2020, I've qualified in 3 years 249 coaches, which is just mind-blowing. That there's that many people that want to do open water swimming, which means there's that many people that want to coach it. And I feel really privileged to be part of their journey now as well. Just saw Matthew Haycroft saying he was proud to be trained. So, and it was, for me, it's an absolute privilege to be part of his journey from now on. Just love it.
For sure. And from first hand seeing it, you're absolutely amazing at it, and you're definitely supposed to do that sort of stuff. So anyone that's interested, absolutely check it out.
Definitely.
The last question is, one piece of advice for younger Kerry-Anne going into her swimming days again. What would you tell her? What would you say?
Ooh, I think it would be the motto that I actually still live by now, which is, it's two things really. One is make sure that you do it to be the best that you can be. So it's not about trying to win medals. It's about, for me, it was always about trying to be the best athlete that I could be, always about that. And that was through the gym work, through the nutrition work that we did, through the training that we did, training smart. Like that for me was, and the time that I had a really bad dip was when that wasn't the front of my mind, when I was kind of, when I went through that bad phase. It wasn't about me being the best anymore. It was about me being the best version of myself. I mean, it was about me being a winner. So when that changed, so I would try to make sure that didn't happen and I could continue doing that. And then the other thing that I always say is, it's kind of related more to cold water swimming, which is to get at wanting more. But actually, I think in a way that was really the motto of my career, because I could have probably carried on for a bit longer after the Rio Olympics. I was definitely old, as they call it in the world of swimming, 28. I was the oldest on the swimming team by quite a few years. But I still felt like I had, I probably could have pushed it a bit more, but I probably would have got to the point where I resented swimming. I resented training. It wasn't really what I wanted to do anymore. And I just didn't want that to be the case. So I ended on my terms. I was really happy with where I ended, what I did and how I did it. And I was just ready to kind of take on the next challenge for me, which was Tri-Skip at the time. So to have finished my career in one of my favorite cities in the whole world, in the Rio Olympic Games, and my swim was in the Copacabana beach, couldn't really get more famous than that. So it was a case of, I'm done now, because it's my terms, I'm finished with it. So yeah, I hope that doesn't come across badly, because it's not to say don't finish 4 years early, but it was really to end on the terms that were right for me and not to be pressured into anything else.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound bad at all. That's fantastic. Thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
You've been amazing, but that's no surprise.
Thank you.
No, it's been great. Honestly, I could just listen to you all night, but I will let you go and eat, because you probably should do that. That's probably more important. But yeah, no, thank you for coming on. Thanks for being amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. You're smashing it.
Thank you. And you too. You're not giving yourself enough credit there for everything that you've done and everything that you will continue to do. So from everyone else that you're talking to, we would like to say thank you to you for giving us the chance to talk about what we do, but make sure that you think as highly of yourself as we all think of you.
Thanks, thank you, that's lovely, and I'm going to clip that and put that on my LinkedIn, I think. But no, have an amazing Christmas, you and the family, and yeah, I'll speak to you soon, I'm sure, but thanks for coming on, you've been fantastic.
My pleasure, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Kerry-Anne. Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.